Well, here we are in Bracknell Town Centre again. It's early June 2013 and we're looking down on the view of Charles Square. As you can see, pretty much 1970s vintage, not improved much, and I think that you could possibly say that it may well be gently decaying. Over there's the 3M building. 3M have not occupied that building for a number of years, and it is completely vacant. At its ground floor there is a market that runs on Friday and Saturday, and it is the target of vandalism. We look down here. In the distance you will see the entrance to Princess Square. It's rather interesting that the uncovered shopping area is called Charles Square, and they didn't seem to want to call the indoor one Diana Square to complement it. Go figure. So this is the popular end of the shopping centre. Over here is the unpopular end of the shopping centre. This is the area that's scheduled for demolition. Over there is our dear friend Crossway House. You can see that the mobile phone shop on the ground floor area is now vacated. And here we are at Crossway House itself. You can see that the trees have been somewhat defoliated, branches cut off. They look more like something from a scene from a First World War battlefield. I've covered Crossway House in great detail on my last video, so here's a sort of last lingering look at the place before it gets demolished. I'm inside the bandstand, as you can see. Looking down into the crossway, we see that the trees have been given the Saruman treatment here as well. You will remember from the previous video that there were a whole load of al fresco tables for a local cafe underneath the trees. Of course, those are gone, as is the cafe. Here is a dedicated charity bookshop, Baz Books. It closed down about 2 weeks ago. It used to sell paperbacks for £1 and hardbacks for £2. As the deadline got nearer, it started selling its books for 50p each. It's a bit of a shame it's closed down. It's got nowhere else to go. It was one of the ways that the Sebastian's Action Trust raised money for a special kind of respite home for families with children with incurable diseases. This area had a preponderance of charity shops because what happened was that it was scheduled for redevelopment about 10 years ago, and the plans were actually turned down by the government. Thank you, Mr. John Prescott, for that. And in the meantime, businesses have pulled out because of the uncertain future of the area. What happened was that charity shops took over on peppercorn rents. Not exclusively charity shops though. As you can see, there was a pizza parlour, a beauty salon, and also a jeweller's. Here's another view of Crossway from the other side of the walkway. Of course, this view may be quite bland at the moment, but bear in mind that it's going to be utterly destroyed soon, so there is a sort of historic context here. May not be interesting in the next week, but perhaps in the next half a century it may be of interest to somebody. Tomorrow is the last day for this shop here, which is having a half-price closing down sale. You'll remember from my previous video, it looked as though this used to be a department store, and obviously with the decline of Bracknell Town Centre, the department store went bust or moved out and was replaced by essentially a hardware and haberdasher's store. As you can see, more mutilated trees. Here is a view looking down Broadway, and in the background you can see the 3M building edge on. As you can see, these trees don't seem to have much of a future in them. Here is the real charity row. Thames Hospice Care, British Heart Foundation, ironing shop, barber shop. That very large British Heart Foundation furniture store over there used to be a Woolworths. Obviously Woolworths went bust, and there was no business that could take it over, so the charity shops moved in. Next to the charity furniture store there. Used to be in Iceland. Obviously that's moved out now as well. Here is an interesting shop here, Walmsley's Furniture Store. They boasted that they could keep their prices down because they didn't advertise their business. It's no longer there. It actually went into administration at the end of last year. Clearly it does in fact pay to advertise. This is proof. To illustrate the non-commercial nature of this shopping area, next to the furniture store we have a community arts centre and a scooter mart for mobility. Next to the Iceland shop we also had ourselves a tattoo parlour. Down from this were the Oxfam shops. The Golden Place here serviced the fish and chip needs of the good folks of Bracknell for 30 years until it closed down in 2011. Here is a view of the shopping area from an overhead gantry. £99 store. You'll see that somebody had the very bright idea when this shopping area was built to improve the concrete facade with some geometric shapes, apparently in the name of art. Obviously a 9-year-old could have done better. There's an interesting architectural feature there with the Grange Hotel tower block in the background. So here is a panoramic view of Broadway, the area that's going to be redeveloped very shortly. Is anybody going to miss it? It's unlikely. But that's only because an unimproved area subject to benign neglect. But I hope that this video is a useful record of what was once here. And as to the future, well, here's perhaps a small example or hint of what the shape of things to come is. Here is the new Waitrose store that was opened in the last couple of years. Waitrose has an absolutely huge depot in one of the business parks here. Paradoxically, it didn't have a store here and since it closed down the one in Birch Hill, which reopened as an Aldi, which I'm not going to be cruel but accurate here, saying was more in keeping with the area. So here's the new Waitrose, and presumably all of the new shops will end up looking pretty much like this. Another panoramic view of the Broadway, this time from the end on.